Welcome, friends, to the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour with your hosts, Sig Bisley and Colt Mauser. Before we get started, please be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content just like this. Now, let the animation appreciation commence.
Okay, I'm going to bitch about this next week because it's going to be closer, but this is a preview. I fucking hate Halloween on Monday. It's just disappointing.
It's very lame.
Like, end of the week, Thursday, Friday, I'm already half-assing it by then. It, feels like the weekend. Monday just sucks, man. It's just a bummer. I think they should just standardize it as the last Saturday of the month or something.
It's lame. Yeah, there's towns that do that for, trick-or-treating and stuff.
Yeah, it just makes sense to me.
But, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm with you.
I mean, it makes no difference. I don't do anything anyway, but it just kind of bumps me out.
Well, it's annoying because if you want to stay up late, watch some movies or whatever, it doesn't really matter what night it is. It matters what day is after it.
Exactly. I don't want to get drunk and watch movies on a Monday night.
Sunday would be worse.
Yeah, Sunday's kind of a bummer too. Wasn't it Sunday last year?
I think it might have been.
Yeah, I think it
Saturday a couple years ago was glorious.
I think they all progress every year.
Yeah.
At any rate, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust.
Yes. Excellent. Not quite as smeary as I remember it being, but still needs a better.
I just remember we
remaster.
watched them in succession last year, and that one was definitely a letdown visually because they cleaned up the first one so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, watch it again. It didn't seem quite as bad.
So we're talking about that today.
Review that. We watched a crap ton of stuff because everything's out this season, so we'll get into that.
Witch from Mercury, Golden Kamuy, Mob Psycho, Urusei Yatsura,
blah, blah,
Chainsaw
blah.
Man.
The list goes
endless.
on. And I'm reading a lot of comics lately, or catching up on a lot of comics lately, so whenever I finish something, we're going to do an indie comic or two. So this week, Garbage Man.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Garbage Man, maybe a little bit of Wraith of God. Aaron Lopresti, he's really crushing it lately.
It's been my favorite stuff I've read recently. So
his stuff comes out reasonably on schedule. It looks freaking great. The writing is good, which is one of my biggest pitches about indie comics is they need some better writers.
They need more writers and less artists who also write.
Because the artists are all freaking amazing. There's a little more trouble in the writing space. So yeah, there's some cool shit there. And I might talk a little. We'll see if we have time. I might talk a little bit about Ascension too, which is the comic I didn't even give you because it is just the most boring ripoff of Ghost in the Shell I think I've ever read. Sorry if anybody who was involved with it, listens to this, but it's not working for me. Anyway,
they can't all be zingers.
They can't all be zingers.
Anyway, so before any of that, da news.
All right, news. All right, so the first bit of news is, every once in a while we like to say, hey, there's some free anime to go watch. Go check it out. And no, I don't mean the sailing the, seven seas kind. I'm talking about actual free, check it out. So there's a short, so Bandai Visual and Studio 4 degrees Celsius, 4 degrees C, have put out a free short everywhere but Japan, where and it's got English subtitles, so you can check it out until November 18th. It is called Noiseman Sound Insect. So I haven't watched it yet.
That's a hell of a title.
We'll check it out and maybe maybe get into it. But I mean, it's Koji Morimoto, which he worked on The Animatrix and Memories.
Ah, yeah.
And Masaki Yuasa, which you'll remember from Devilman Crybaby, one of the designers there. Yoko Kanno did the music.
Is there anything that Yoko Kanno doesn't do?
Yeah, well, not as much anymore, but yeah, there was that period for 15 years where everything was Yoko Kanno.
Listen, prolific.
I'm not going to complain. Yoko Kanno was like the Danny Elfman of Japan. Different styles, but
you're right.
Similar
That's
kind
like
of
a perfect
feel.
comparison. Just does everything.
Awesome. God, I love Yoko. We could do a whole thing on Yoko Kanno at some point because, God, music is freaking awesome. Anyway, Noiseman Sound Insect. Sound Insect is one word.
There's literally series I remember just for the music that weren't that good.
Check it out. Go check it out on YouTube. Like I said, we'll probably check it out and then get back to you. It sounds wild. It's like a sound monster that steals music, so
Bizarro.
seems perfect for the season. So go check it out free on YouTube unless you're in Japan. Even if you're in Japan, get a freaking VPN.
Get a VPN.
Like I keep threatening to do.
Move into the 21st century.
And make it happen. All right, so last week we talked about Silent Hill and Silent Hill coming back to life. Well, somewhat surprisingly, they're doing a remake of Silent Hill 2. It's not the first one.
Oh, yeah,
Silent
I heard
Hill
that. Yeah.
2.
Kind of weird.
So that's interesting. Which, I mean, Silent Hill 2 is the one I played first. I really like it. I think it's a great game. It's going to be on the PS5 and PC only, which is kind of lame. Really wish it would also come out for, the X-Brick and maybe even the Switch. Why not? We'll see. Maybe it'll make its way there eventually. But a couple other games they announced too. But the Silent Hill 2 remake is the most interesting to me. Now, will I bother to replay it? Probably not. Pyramid Head comes from Silent Hill 2. Pyramid Head is great.
Everybody
cool design.
loves Pyramid Head.
And the other thing I remember Silent Hill 2 for is being the game where I actually had to feel the effects of the Clinton crime bill because the magazines for my Beretta 92 had only 10 fucking rounds in them instead of 17. Thank you, Brandon.
You should have wrote a letter to your congressman. Like, I died this game because you didn't arm me.
Damn straight. Now, by the time you have to try to use a gun in that game, you're already screwed up, but still.
My fondest memories of Silent Hill 2 are all the sexy Pyramid Head cosplays at conventions.
Sexy Pyramid Head and the sexy nurse. A lot of people do the sexy nurses, except, the face is all screwed up. So, but they never make the faces screwed up as it should be.
None of them will ever beat Sexy Luigi.
No.
Baby, if you're
correct.
out there, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how this turns out. We'll see if Konami maybe is not going to just make freaking pachinko machines anymore. We'll actually get back into games.
Maybe there's a lot of money to pick up pachinko machines.
I'd like some more Igavanias, please. Even though, Bloodstained was a great game. I'd rather it just be Castlevania. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's still a great game. No complaints. All right. Moving on. So this is cool, and I'll probably pick this up. So Crunchyroll has announced a 30th anniversary box set, Blu-ray box set for Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it's got the 2 new OVA episodes that I didn't even know existed until maybe a month or so ago. We talked about those. So that's pretty damn cool. If you're into the dub, they're going to theoretically bring back the cast of the dub, which is cool.
I'm ultra stoked on that.
So I'm into it. Hopefully it's not super expensive. At least it's a complete series.
I doubt it's expensive enough to keep me from buying it.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, it's a full box set. I'm surprised it's Crunchy who's putting it out and not Right Stuff. But did Crunchy buy Right Stuff? Didn't somebody buy Right Stuff? Maybe it is Right Stuff. Sony. But doesn't Sony owns Funny and Crunchy owns Funny. I think it's all the same.
Yeah,
I think
so
this is probably truly a Right Stuff release that's just, labeled as Crunchyroll, whatever. Looking forward to it. I mean, I really want to give the show a rewatch. I haven't watched it.
Such a classic, man.
I haven't watched it since the,
it was fucking on
early
Toonami,
2000s. Yeah, early 2000s. I don't know when it's going to be out. January 31st. So, no, I do know when it's going to be out, and that's pretty cool. So, not time for the holiday season, but
I'm going to buy it for myself for my birthday.
That's pretty soon. I'm into it. I still have Tyler we got to rewatch. So, anyway, check it out. Yu Yu Hakusho, new box set, new Blu-ray box set coming out, and it's got those 2 new OVAs, so even some additional new stuff to check out.
Fantastic.
It'll get you excited for the Netflix live action show. Oh.
That's at least kind of
Sorry,
doable.
my PP just got soft. All right.
That's more doable than...
They at least cast it appropriately.
It's more doable than One Piece is, I think.
Oh, yeah. One Piece is impossible. I'm very curious to see what they do with that. That's actually cast well, but it's going to be a lot of bad CG. Anyway, moving on. So apparently, Gundam Thunderbolt is going to continue for at least 5 or 6 more years.
Oh, my God. I mean, I'm stoked, but why does it have to take so fucking long?
So don't hold your breath if you're waiting for the anime to ever finish up. I'm hoping
I like him to at least poop out a little more every now and again.
Yeah, I'm hoping they finish the anime at some point. I'm assuming they will because it's popular enough. But
it's just Gundam porn.
Oh, it's great.
I mean, it's just dirty.
Yeah, the plot isn't the best thing ever. It's fine. It's a decent side story.
I mean, it's a cool side story, but it's just goddamn all those sexy
it's great.
mobile suits.
It's good UC stuff. Now, I mean, they've overstuffed the 1 year war to the point where it's just laughable. Like, how many freaking models of mobile suit were there in the freaking 1 year war at this point? Right. Like, you're freaking outstripped Double Zeta at this point, and that's hard to do,
right? Because
Double Zeta is ridiculous. So
this is funny.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad there's going to be plenty of it, and I really hope it does get adapted because the anime is so fantastic, just in the animation and the mecha porn. But
music too.
The music
I like
is
all
well
the
done.
fights that are kind of like go along with like the cool the guy who's listening
jazz,
to like the jazz,
the experimental jazz.
As much as I hate experimental jazz, it works.
It works for a mobile suit battle. Someone watched their Cowboy Bebop and realized that these things could go together.
This works.
So yeah, I don't know. If you're a reader of Thunderbolt, you can look forward to many more years of the manga. All right, so this one makes me wish I was in Japan just to buy these because it's really cool. So the Ghibli Park in Japan is going to reproduce the original poster and pamphlet for all 23 Ghibli movies.
Oh man, that's awesome!
And make them available for sale.
I'd fucking kill for the posters.
So the posters are $9. The pamphlets are $7.
$9. That's so cheap.
That's so cheap. They're B2 size, which let's see not the pamphlets, the
posters obviously.
The posters, which B2 size is 500 millimeter by 707 millimeter. So
30 millimeters is roughly a little over an inch.
Well, it's 19.7 by 27.8 inches. So they're decent size posters. They're legit size posters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not quite poster size, but it's pretty close.
No, it's pretty cool though. I mean,
it's super awesome.
I want all of them. Like,
yeah, I would buy all of them.
Well, at least all the Miyazaki ones.
I don't know if I have enough wall space, but
I know they're very cool. It's just cool. I'm really. It says it's going to be available in the online shop, but I don't know if they'll ship internationally. We'll see. Maybe you could use a proxy if you really want them. I don't know how well they hold up in shipping. I mean, if they put them in a tube, it'd be fine. But yeah, I mean, the pamphlets are cool, but I'm more interested in the posters. Anyway, they're reprinting all of them. That's kind of awesome. If you have the ability to get them, I'd highly recommend you go get them.
I'm gonna look into it because I kind of want them,
especially since they're so reasonable.
Yeah, $9, God, it's like free.
All right.
You can make a case for buying all of them and not even feel bad about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 23 times $9. I mean, what do you talk, $230-ish? Yeah. I mean, for less than $300, you could have all the posters from all the Ghibli movies. That's
pretty cool.
That's pretty good. All right, so there's a brand. There is a brand in Japan of snacks, Ariel snacks, right? And of course, Ariel snacks are getting Gundam Witch for Mercury special snacks.
Of course they are.
Because of course they are. So if you know anything about the way the snack world in Japan works, like, man, it's crazy. Like, there's special editions of everything, different flavors. Like, every season they're changing stuff over. It's you think it's bad anywhere else in the world where they do like, oh, it's like orange stuff for Halloween. Like, Japan goes off the chains with like specialty candy and specialty snacks.
Everything's pumpkin spice forever.
So these snacks, they're going to be available in sea salt, thick cheddar cheese,
extra thick,
grilled corn, and corn potage.
A lot of corn action there.
A lot of corn going on.
I don't know if I'm
a lot of corn
that.
Snacks. Half the snacks are just bugles, but with different flavors attached to them.
So true.
So anyway, if you are in Japan, have the availability. Apparently the big camera stores are going to have these snacks. So go get yourself some Gundam Witch for Mercury branded snacks and enjoy your thick cheddar.
Super thick cheddar. Thick cheddar disturbs the shit out of me.
It's very disturbing.
Just saying it. Like,
Japan, these words, I don't think you understand the connotations.
Cheddar. Ugh.
It does give you the creeps a little bit, right?
It's like lumpy cheese whiz or something. Yeah.
All right, so moving on to some Elden Ring news, except in the strangest way possible. So there's going to be a streaming event on December 3rd for jazz music, streaming to Elden Ring. So streaming Elden Ring music in the style of jazz.
Didn't we already talk about
We
this?
did talk about this, but now they have who's actually involved,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So
I knew it rang a bell.
we did talk about it before, but now it's got the date. So it's December 3rd at 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. Pacific. Apparently there's going to be you have to buy tickets, so I don't know if anybody's willing to do that, but it's going to be Grammy Award-winning sax musician Kenny Garrett, and Takuya Kuroda will be on trumpet.
Nice.
They're going to translate the soundtrack into jazz tunes. And there'll be improv segments because if you like jazz, you got to love improv segments,
Yeah,
right?
it's 99% improv. So
So honestly, if you're in this kind of thing, go check it out. I mean, the music in all the FromSoft games is really, really, really good, but it's all very orchestral kind of soundtrack music, right? So I don't know how the hell that's going to translate very well to two instruments in jazz, but
sure,
who knows? If it's a crazy thing, I don't know how the hell this is going to make money, but
probably be entertaining.
it's got to be interesting, right? So go check that out. Like I said, December 3rd, 6 and 10 p.m. Pacific. Get your tickets. All right, so the most boring group of people. People. I don't know if they are people. They're involved in the insurance industry, so you know. The most boring group of people, the National Federation of Health Insurance Societies, has their own web anime.
Fantastic. See, they're trying to not be boring.
Wellness Treasure Ship Tsukoyaka 7.
Whoa. They're about safety.
I'm seeing pictures of this. It is surreal. It's very strange. I have no idea what the hell they're thinking, or why the hell the National Federation of Health Insurance Societies needs an anime. But if you need some content to put in your brain and make you go, I don't know, mostly insane, you can go check this out. It is free and it is up on YouTube. All 4 episodes of the Wellness Treasure Ship Tsukoyaka 7. It's wild, man.
I need to take a ride in the Wellness Treasure Ship.
You need to take a ride on the magic health insurance carpet. All right, moving on. So there's a couple bits of more social news. So this is just kind of a warning about where everything is going, because history doesn't repeat itself, but it certainly rhymes.
You've been warned.
So we clearly have right now a big problem with leftist censorship, right? Like there's a very big push from.
If you're as old as we are, you remember
this is how it started. If you're as old as we are, because this is Tipper Gore back in the 80s.
Yeah, but I mean, it was conservative, hyper religious censorship.
That was in the 90s.
Yeah, but before that, it was Tipper Gore putting explicit stickers on every
music.
fucking album you ever wanted.
Yep.
You got to fight with your fucking mom to get it.
Yep.
Luckily, my mom was a pushover.
Yeah, my parents didn't care about that stuff. But anyway, so this whole thing's a cycle, right? So we've been dealing with leftist censorship for a while now. We still are. Sony censoring things. Steam taking games off because they want to it's a censorship problem, right? Well, now it's swinging back the other way. So, as the culture war, whatever you want to call it, kind of swings in the other direction, and you're getting more. I think this time it feels more libertarian right wing than Jesus right wing. But they're going to sweep in with this stuff too. Now you have people like Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire who, listen, I think his What Is a Woman documentary is smart. I think it's a smart thing to do because it calls out a lot of the bullshit that goes on. Again, we're not a political podcast, not really going to get into that, but he said something incredibly stupid, which is, anime is satanic, doesn't have any argument for it. He just seems like it's satanic. Like, really? We're going to go back to the satanic panic
Wait, no.
of the 80s?
Here's my take on this. And I was thinking about this the other day because I was like dicking around on YouTube or something. The culture war, as we've said, has already basically been won. So these guys are running out of content. So now they have to like push hard. Because I've been seeing so much shit about things being satanic in the past 6 months.
So part of it is always going to be that, right? Part of it is going to be the grift, right? So
yeah,
I'm sorry.
These guys just need content.
Whatever you think about the Daily Wire or anybody, they're going to grift, right? They're going to grift, right?
They got to pay.
You can agree
people.
with some things they say. You can disagree with some things they say, but they're going to grift. They
just
pay
remember
the bills.
that all this shit is a business.
Yes. And keep stoking up interest is part of keeping the business going.
And when you run out of things to complain about, you have to invent things to complain about.
And, if this was a podcast that just bitched about things all day, we'd have 8 times the number of
same,
subscribers.
We'd be doing the same goddamn thing.
Yeah. But that's not the point, right? Like, we're not here to just shit on everything. Like, we want to tell you about good stuff, too. And too often, it's just everything's a rage machine because that's what gets eyes on things.
I would much rather recommend things that are awesome than bitch about things all day.
Damn straight. So, anyway, this is just a dumb take. But to finish my point there, the problem is it's going to bring in the legitimate,
all the zealots.
The legitimate zealots into the fold that are going to, latch onto that, and it gives them almost like a Cassius Belly to come in and be like, haha, now we will ban all the things again. Like, no, stop it. The position from everybody left and right for forever, anime fans everywhere, is don't censor this stuff. Don't let people make their own decisions.
Don't censor anything. Just leave the
look,
fuck
you don't
alone.
have to put it on Saturday morning cartoons, not even really a thing anymore, but you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like before school for your kids to watch if it's, frickin' Higurashi or something, and or Elfin Lead, where there's just corpses and titties everywhere. Like, no, that's okay, but that should still be available. That should still be there for adults.
I just can't
teens to enjoy.
Oh, this makes perfect sense, right? Because we've been basically living through decades at light speed. The past 5 or 6 years.
It feels that way. It feels like social media. I've said this before.
No, but we're in the late 70s now.
Social media causes things to go quicker. Everything just goes faster and faster, which means it never gets really, really bad. But
we're essentially living through the death of the Roman Empire that took hundreds of years in the span of 10 years.
No, death of the Roman Republic. I'm very firm on this. This is the death of the Roman Republic. We haven't even hit the Empire phase yet.
Yeah, it'll be quick though.
You just said it, and I don't disagree. It will be accelerating quickness, but we haven't even hit the Empire phase yet.
That's true.
No one stabbed Caesar in the floor of the freaking forum. Yeah, right.
Et tu, Brute. Anyway, I think right now we've just rolled into the late 70s. The Satanic Panic's back.
The Satanic Panic is back, man.
It's because
they're trying to make it a thing. I don't think it'll catch on,
the radical progressive left gave them so much fucking ammo. You know what I mean? This was inevitable.
Yep.
We've been calling this for fucking 2 years. It's Jesus, the right's gonna snap back and do the same thing.
The reaction's always the worst. The Weimar Republic in Germany was bad, but you ain't gonna like what followed it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's always the problem. Things go too far one direction, and they snap back too far the other way, and you want to just attenuate that. And okay, we can go back and forth, but let's go back and forth 5 feet on each side and not a mile and a half in each direction.
Well, that's the problem. You need a weight. You need some kind of counterweight to keep this shit from snapping back and forth.
I think social media.
The internet is the opposite of counterweight. It makes it slap farther.
I disagree. I think the internet is exactly that, because I think the internet makes it spin. It makes it go so fast that it doesn't have a chance to really foment and get really, really bad. It's never going to get bad enough to really make people truly extreme, because it's going to snap back and forth so fast.
Well, yeah, that's what I said, though. It's
which
the
will drive
of a counterweight.
Which feels like chaos and is chaos in a way, and drives people crazy in a different way because it's chaos. But anyway.
I don't know that it's chaos because it's predictable now. You see it happening.
Well, just because I know a hurricane's coming doesn't mean it's not chaos. Do you know what I mean? You could predict kind of what's happening, but you could never truly predict exactly when or exactly what kind of weird shit is going to spin out of it.
True, but you can batten down your hatches.
Correct. You can prepare in general, so you're not wrong that you can kind of at least get a feel.
Install storm windows, friends.
Yeah. But anyway, this was just. I think this is mostly Griff's stupidity.
Don't run out of shit to talk about.
And he's probably just being an ass just to drum up because that's his game, which is why he's not. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of his. I'm not a fan of Shapiro. I do kind of like Clavin and Knowles is all right, but
Shapiro's right about stuff sometimes, but he goes.
He's
too
a
far.
rhino, stupid rhino. Anyway, sorry, not a political podcast. Can't deal with these old school idiot warmongers. All right.
Well,
so,
the problem is politics creeps into everything now, so
it does.
It has
They've
to be
jammed in
addressed
everything.
eventually.
Let's move on. Let's move on to something that isn't even remotely political. Well, they tried to make it, but they just suicided themselves. So it is now 100,000% official. I mean, it's been kind of official for a while. The corpse has been stinking in the corner for a while now. G4 is dead again. One, it was DOA because even if you had done exactly what you should have done, it's just not made for this era, man. No one cares. No one cares. Everyone has their favorite YouTube channels that do all these things already.
Fucking Twitch does that. Like, whatever.
Like you
and Twitch is already kind of a stinking corpse. So.
If you had hired decent writers and just done kind of the irreverent stuff you used to do, I think they could have made that work.
Nobody wants non-edgy content.
Just, edgy, silly content, that could have worked. But trying to do serious gaming content along with it and other stuff, like, there's too many people out there that do that better than you. And they do it with, like, a freaking $200 microphone and a laptop. Like, you just can't compete.
Like, I could shit and care less about any of that, except for the fact that I don't think I've ever seen anything like crash and burn so fucking fantastically than that.
It was glorious.
They threw crazy money at it, and it took like 2 seconds of like mouth running and
I don't
unadvised like Twitter post to like they had under 1,000 viewers.
I want to be clear.
Under 1,000.
I actually don't even blame. Whoa. I don't even blame Frosk for this. I don't. Because this is all Adam Sessler. This all stinks of Adam Sessler.
Oh, yeah.
He has been a virtue signaling social justice warrior on Twitter for a decade.
Yeah, like before it was even a thing, really.
And he was really the brains behind this. And I put the blame firmly on his stupid virtue signaling ass. You moron. The only reason you are popular is because of what that show was before, what that network was before. And it certainly wasn't fucking woke. Like, what is wrong with you, really? You idiot?
The exact opposite.
His head disappeared up his own ass, which it must have fit a lot easier with no freaking hair on it anymore. But
hey, wait a minute.
We're all bald here. Hey, wait a minute. So it's just stupid. Now, Frosk is the obvious front face of it, where like the most ill-advised rant I've ever seen. Like, bro, it ain't 2014 Gamergate. You can't just do this shit now.
How old is she? Like, does she even remember the old content? It's like, wait a minute, like that's like literally your bread and butter. Like you're basically saying, hey, if you like the old one, don't watch this. Like who the fuck else is going to watch it?
I love her typical thing, do like, oh, but because I'm not as hot. Like you did that to yourself. Like if you fixed your two like dead front teeth.
I was going to say that.
And just didn't style yourself in such a way. Like, I've seen other pictures of her. She looks perfectly fine.
Oh,
like,
she could easily be hot if she wanted to.
Yeah, she's just I don't understand. And not that she has to be. Do whatever you want, but don't bitch about not being hot enough when you are purposely making yourself less hot
enough. Yeah.
Like that doesn't work. If you shut up about it, then do whatever you want. But she's such a moron. Anyway,
get some caps and a better haircut and call it a day.
And it's so dumb because he legitimately knows about games. Like she did commentary, she played League of Legends. Like you know what I mean? She's not just I'm fake gamer girl. Like no, she actually was into video games. Like you could have made hay there, but. So
what
dumb.
are they all so mad about? It's just funny.
I don't get it. I don't.
Like you could have just made money. Like you didn't have to cheesecake it up. You could have just been like a pleasant human.
Maybe they really thought that the virtue signaling thing would get the money, but it just doesn't.
Has it got anyone money literally ever?
Not in the long run. Like it will give you in a lot of cases it gives you a short-term return, but not a long-term return. So assholes in Hollywood and executives in Hollywood love it because they can make a bunch of money, run away, and then the whole thing burns down and they don't have to care because they got to learn money. But yeah, it is not a long-term success strategy. People don't want any part of it, especially not with the amount of free content. I mean, Jesus Christ, I can just sit on YouTube. I can go home and just watch 10 different kinds of videos on 10 different topics I'm interested in and not even come close to scratching the surface of stuff I'd even want to watch. Never mind streaming stuff on TV or playing video games or reading books or, forget about it. Like, there is so much out there now. Like, good luck.
It doesn't cost money to make that content. That's where they fucked up. Like, you don't have to throw a big budget at it. Like, any fucked
they missed that point. Like, they should have literally seen what happens to mainstream media and understood that this wasn't going to work because they copied that model. Let's spend a ton of money and go woke instead of just doing it in a basement and not going woke
and being actually funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, RAP, a thing that's been dead for like fucking 15 years.
RIP, a thing I didn't give a shit about since like 2005.
Oh my God. Ill-advised.
Very ill-advised. Anyway,
it was fascinating. It was a fascinating train wreck.
It was.
I almost miss it.
All right. That is the news.
The news is over.
All right.
Okay, Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, real quick.
All right, yeah, you hit that because everything else I've watched. That's the only thing I'm not
2
watching.
episodes ago, Yuhi was invited by the spirit of Anima to fight the Snake Knight, and whoever won was going to become a mystical beast knight or mythical beast knight, whatever.
Sure.
Magic, fucker, better than the original one. Anyway, he fucked it up because he was just having a bad time. I don't know. Everyone is like emotionally damaged in this show.
Yeah, I get
for
that.
whatever reason. He's probably fucked up because the Mouse Knight died because he was trying. Like, they go into the whole backstory because the Mouse Knight and the Mantis Knight are childhood friends, and he loves her, and like he used his wish to make sure she didn't die.
Yep.
So then they were fighting. She was going to get impaled. And instead of just letting her get impaled because she was going to magically come back to life anyway because that was his wish, he jumps in front of her. He dies epically, heroically, tells her he loves her. And then the whole rest of the episode is her, like... Or the next episode is basically her episode. She has to get her shit together.
Okay.
She has to deal with her emotions, grieving, blah, blah, blah. And then she has to fight some shit.
He was a dumbass.
She cuts her hair in a symbol of, I don't know, her getting her shit together.
Sure. Tidy it up.
And Yuhi has to get his shit together because, I don't know, he doesn't know what's going on.
Okay.
That's about where we're at.
Yeah. It's a serious business getting your shit together episode.
Like every episode in this. There's no lighthearted episodes. It's always like serious business.
Oh, so it's like watching 86. Got it.
Yeah. Except, yeah. 86 was more severe because it was very real world.
Yeah.
This is like fantasy. It's like,
sure.
La la la, I'm a fucking unicorn knight. You know? Like,
yeah.
You don't take that shit so seriously.
It's not like, these AI drone bots
right.
that are, have copies of my dead friends are going to kill me.
God, so savage. It's like they brainstormed, like, what is the most savage premise we can fucking think of?
So bad.
Anyway, Shinobi no Itoki. This is basically just a fun show. It's kind of serious, but it follows that like same kind of shonen. Like he has to like the second episode, he like applies. He has to apply to ninja school because everybody found him finally. Like the Kuga clan. Did I even go over this last week? Any of it?
You went over some of it.
Okay.
There's too many damn shows, man.
As long as I'm
can't
not
keep
like,
track of everything.
I don't want to launch into something in the middle. Anyway, so after you got all the like, big ninja families BS figured out.
Ninja clans.
Yeah.
Classic.
They all found him. Like the Kuga clan found him. They think that his dad or whatever killed the head of their village.
Okay.
So they have like a blood feud against him, and he doesn't know what the fuck's going on because he just found out all about this shit.
That's been the plot in about 15 different things I've watched.
Oh yeah, it's like very tropey. Anyway, so in order to keep him alive, he has to go to ninja school because he was always going to ninja school. Everything something school. At least it's not fucking wizard school, right?
Sure. I've read the best version of that already.
Exactly. Anyway, ninja school. He has to take the exam to get into ninja school. but the Koga attack him. Koga, sorry. Because he's the Iga.
Yep, that's classic ninja bullshit.
Exactly. Anyway, they attack him. The whole thing gets fucked. He fails the exam, but he like saved a bunch of people and like kept collateral damage to a minimum. So they like actually pass him because like that's what ninjas are supposed to do. It's that kind of thing. That's like kind of the whole.
Sure.
Seems like that's gonna be the premise of the whole thing. Like he does shit his way. The standard shonen archetype.
Yeah,
I do it my way.
Tropey, you already
which
said
is
it.
the right way. So he gets ahead.
But with less steps, got it. The max power way.
Yes, the max power way.
That's actually the wrong way with less steps, whatever.
Anyway, so the third episode, he's in ninja school. These guys are always trying to kill him. He has to do stuff. Anyway, it's entertaining. I would just watch it instead of listening to me fucking blather on about it.
Yeah.
My description.
There's so many shows this season. I can't. It's never happening. Gundam Witch from Mercury.
Listen, I put in the effort.
Yeah. I know. Gundam Witch from Mercury.
You mean Utna Witch from Mercury? It gets more Utna every episode, which is hilarious.
I don't know. I'm still sticking to my...
Not in a bad way.
I'm still sticking to my it's more Kill la Kill, but it does have some Utna in there, too.
Yeah, but Kill la Kill was just Utna. It was just fucking trigger Utna.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong.
And it had a crap ending.
You were not wrong. Utna...
Actually, Kill la Kill didn't really have a crap ending. It just like...
No,
it went 12 episodes farther than it should have.
Kill la Kill's ending was fine. You just need to cut out the entire middle. It was kind of pointless. That's a lot of trigger 26 episode shows.
Stop giving them too much money.
Listen, man, they got burned so hard back in the freaking Gainax Anno
right.
days. They just don't know
They
what to
really
do.
did learn from Anno, and they just like, oh, we'll wrap it up in 12. Oh, fuck, we have to do another like half season.
All right, so Witch from Mercury. This show is far more about duels than I ever thought it was going to be about duels, which is awesome. Got no complaints. So they're basically redoing the duel from the first episode.
Because he like the guy gets it. The guy's
the
dad,
loser's father.
Yeah, gets it like nullified because he's got a lot of money apparently.
Yeah, and he's trying to prop his company up because he's like a lower tier company. It's all about like the companies and this whole alliance of companies, and he's trying to climb the ladder. So he basically puts an advanced AI system into the mobile suit this time, where like his son is not even controlling it.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to use the controls. It's ridiculous.
I could have looked up his name, but everybody's got crazy Gundam names, so it's hard. Suletta, I remember. So Suletta's got to fight him again. He does better this time, but it's kind of obvious he doesn't really have much of a chance. Most of the episode, like half the episode, is like the fight. There's the setup.
Plus he kind of he regains a little bit of his honor in my eyes because he like...
No, he totally does.
Because he's like, he destroys the automatic thing and just like takes over at the end.
He does better without the automatic thing.
Yeah, and he still gets his ass kicked.
And they also pull more shenanigans to try to make him able to win. You know, they're nullifying beam weapons with water, which is a thing Gundam has had before.
Classic Gundam trope.
But it's good. And then there's, you know, I like the stinger at the end where now he's obsessed with Suletta too, so they're doing this crazy harem thing.
Oh yeah, like she asks.
But she's
he
such
asked
an
her
autist.
to marry him, and it's like, come on, man.
And she is, Suletta's a great character, man. She's just such. This is what happens when you have a female autist, right? Like she acts like you would expect, but she does not act like. I've seen this character archetype a lot. You know what this character archetype is? This is the paper. She reminds me of the paper a lot. Super awesome and super competent, but like very
terrible at everything else.
Yeah, very terrible, very socially awkward, very like autistic in the legitimate sense of the word. Yeah, it's good. I like it a lot. I can't complain. But
I like because it's different, kind of.
Yeah, it's a different
like
kind
you
of
could
show.
only rehash original Gundam so many fucking times before it just gets old. This is like completely different.
You get the corporate angle. You got the school. You got the.
It has all the Gundam window dressing. It's just a completely different.
Yeah,
feel.
you got the duels. So yeah,
I'm enjoying it more than I thought.
I saw someone saying, "Yeah, this is the best side story from Gundam I've seen in years." Like the last one they did was really good because IBO, despite me having issues,
IBO was fucking fantastic up until the very end.
Now, if AG was the last thing, well, yeah, I could understand.
And I mean, you might not have a beef with the end. I just I don't like the
Too nihilistic.
Yeah, I don't like the ultra nihilism, because you got what was that, 52 episodes?
It can be savage, but it makes the end of Victory Gundam or the end of Zeta Gundam seem happy.
Yeah, exactly.
So bad.
And those were formerly my complaints about nihilistic endings.
Honestly, the end of Victory is way overplayed on how savage it is. The end of Zeta
wasn't that bad.
The end of Zeta is way worse. Zeta Gundam has the most savage ending in any Gundam. Well, except for IBO. IBO was worse. All right, so we'll move on from Witch from Mercury. Very good. Still good. Keep watching it.
Yeah, I'm still all in. So
Golden Kamuy. So we just watched Golden Kamuy before we started recording. Oh, my God. It's just the sense of humor is great.
It's one of the funniest things I've watched in, fucking 10 years.
So, again, the problem is I don't remember really any of these characters.
I remember the echolocation guy.
I remember the echolocation guy, but
only because of that.
Golden Kamuy has
10 billion characters.
I think it's literally 30. And they will focus on smaller side characters that they haven't been talked about in forever. And there's been 6 months, a year between seasons. I don't know any of these characters. Now, I get the basic gist. They're all working for Lieutenant Tsurumi, which is the main quote-unquote bad guy.
And they got fucked up in the war, so they've been recovering.
They're rehabbing
hot springs.
up at the hot springs, and they basically run into the echolocation guy who's blind, but he uses echolocation to find stuff.
And he's also a prisoner with a tattoo on his back.
Yep. So they want to get a gift to give Lieutenant Tsurumi so they can get back in his good graces, because they really haven't been around in forever because they've been recuperating since the war. So the 4 characters, it's all about that. It's all about them capturing this guy. That's it. And then there's a tiny bit at the end.
There's 2 minutes of them
of Immortal Sugimoto and a Serpa and company, basically just hanging out in a Nainu village because they're still making their way back to mainland Japan.
Being ultra fucking weird.
And they were, being very weird. They're super drunk. Oh my God. This show is ridiculous. So anyway,
it does creepy in the best possible way.
Yeah, I mean, that's Golden Kamuy. The thing is, they've been jumping to different characters each episode. But like I said, this is a show that honestly, it's awesome to watch. I don't mind watching week to week. You can get the gist, but it's a show you're almost better off just marathoning.
I will 100% rewatch it someday just so I can blast through it fast and know what the fuck.
As long as the end doesn't make me want to die, I'm with you 100%.
I can't imagine this having a bad ending. That guy's too good of a writer. I just don't feel like he'd let me down.
All right, so
I've thought that before,
but Mob Psycho. Also watch Mob Psycho.
This was a funny one.
Mob Psycho is great. So Mob gets full of himself and thinks he's a super ladies man now, and everyone's into it.
Oh yeah, because girls keep talking to him, so he just becomes super Chad.
They do the ridiculous artwork that makes him look like a freaking.
Oh yeah, with the balls chin.
With the chin and the mad chiseled jaw.
It's so funny.
It's so ridiculous. Oh God, it's such a good episode. Then you see everybody's plan is to make Mob the leader of the cult of what the hell is it, the Dome Head or whatever.
Yeah, it's some stupid name like that.
Oh my God. But then someone the broccoli itself is creating its own people.
Oh yeah, the weird broccoli people. It's so bizarre.
There's crazy stuff. So there's a giant broccoli that happened in last season because of Mob's psychic event where he had to defeat the evil psychic guy from last season. And it's just wackiness. It's just a wacky episode. It's just Mob fumbling about and waiting around next to the broccoli.
I kind of like those episodes. It doesn't have any particular. It doesn't move the story forward. It's just fucking funny.
No, Reagan's just hanging out on the sidelines, checking stuff out. Just a solid episode. Not much to really say about it. It's just good. It's a good show. Again,
it's comedy.
If you're not watching Mob Psycho, especially if you like One Punch and you're not watching Mob Psycho, you're fucking up. You got to go watch Mob Psycho.
It's true.
All right, so Urusei Yatsura. We just watched that too right before we started recording. It's
just wacky.
I love it. I love how insane it is. I love how it doesn't have to make sense. There's just demons and monsters and exorcists and
I just love Ataru's
aliens.
Epically shitty luck, and this is only happening because he has the shittiest luck.
He has the shittiest luck, but he also does it to himself constantly.
Oh yeah, he definitely makes it worse.
So in one of the episodes, what's the first one? The first one he runs into Shinobu.
Yes.
The the Shrine Maiden, and she's like, "Oh God, your terrible luck."
Oh no, that's not Shinobu. Shinobu's the girl who's
Shinobu
that wants to date.
Oh no,
him.
Sakura. Sorry,
Sakura. Yeah.
Two
Man,
S
a
names.
Shrine Maiden
Sorry.
is fucking always Sakura.
The Shrine Maiden Sakura. You were correct. See, it's hard to keep all these characters straight. So Shrine Maiden Sakura. Urusei Yatsura is also notorious for having a million characters. But she's super hot, but she's kind of like she's frail.
She's a fucking wreck.
She's a wreck. So she says, "I'm going to take you back and give you an exorcism." Then once he gets back there, he realizes that she's somehow related to Cherry.
Yeah,
I think it's his niece.
Yeah, it's his niece.
The tiny Buddhist monk guy, who's hilarious. So he goes to back to her place near the shrine. She tries to run an exorcism, ends up exorcising all the demons out of herself. So she's not frail anymore, but all the demons go directly to Ataru.
Because of course they do.
But then she figures it out and does a real exorcism and gets rid of the demons. Ataru cops a feel a couple times, gets in a lot of trouble, and then gets kicked out because that's what he does. And that's basically that first part of the episode.
You're forgetting the most important part. When all the demons are getting sucked into like the netherworld, like the fucking Grim Reaper comes out.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
goes
that.
To kill Ataru.
The Grim Reaper shows up to kill Ataru, but I mean,
he just hangs out.
No one could deal with Lum being a freaking monster and shocking this crap out of everybody, including the Grim Reaper. So it just kind of ends. You're totally right. I forgot about the Grim Reaper showing up.
That was funny.
A tiny, like, chibi Grim Reaper. And then the second episode, Ataru's trying to hide out. And it does not go very well.
Yeah, right,
he gets found out like immediately.
They hunt him down like a dog.
Trying to hide out from Lum. And then he convinces Cherry to make him like a magic ribbon that will seal away her powers. So he convinces her to wear it and then seals away her powers. And then she's very mad about having her powers sealed away.
She basically just beats the shit out of him instead of zapping him.
Yeah, once she finds out, she beats the shit out of him. And then she zaps the shit out of him. And Cherry realizes that he's in a lot of trouble, and he packs up and gets the hell out of Dodge. And there's a giant cat for some reason.
I don't know.
There's like a 4-foot tall cat.
Yeah, he's like camping with his giant cat.
I don't understand, man. It's Urusei Yatsura. It's wacky as hell, and I love it. The animation's great. The style is great. It's silly.
I love those wacky throwbacks. It's just fun.
It's great. I can't praise it enough.
It's a fantastic relic from a simpler time.
It's such a relic, but in the best possible way.
It's got a good vibe. It's got positive waves.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, last thing, Chainsaw Man.
Oh, yeah. I like where Chainsaw Man's going. I never read the manga, so this is all virgin territory.
So, yeah, still very good. So now, Denji's back in Tokyo. And
he's getting a feel for his new job and, what's going on.
Yeah, he's officially a demon hunter for the demon hunters, which they're probably those government demon hunters that get paid a lot better than the private demon hunters.
Yeah.
But he's working for the private demon hunters, which will kill him if he gets out of line. So they put him with I can't remember his name. I'm not going to look it up, but they put him with a guy who runs his own platoon. And he ends up fighting him and just like kicking him in the balls endlessly.
That was the most hilarious fight ever. Like,
because the guy's basically just trying to shit on him to get him out of there. He's
like he wants him to quit.
Mainly because he doesn't want him to die. Like, he's actually not being a complete dick. He's like, I've seen this happen a million times. You're just going to die. Get out of here.
Well, he's like, if you're not taking this seriously, you're going to fucking die. So, like, I'm just going to beat you until you leave.
Yeah. But then he just gets kicked in the balls a lot.
Yeah, the whole fight is just, what's his face kicking him in the balls. It's hilarious.
So eventually they put Denji with the craziest fiend. So you find out what fiends are. So fiends are humans that have been taken over by demons.
Like corpses that were taken over by demons.
And they have some sort of animal aspect. It's typically an animal head, but it could just be horns or mouth parts or whatever.
Yeah.
Because
Denji's different though, because like she says, there's no word for what he is because he's not really taken over. It's just like,
it's kind of
voluntary.
It's the opposite, right? Because he was dead, but so he's kind of a fiend, but not really because again, it's the demon isn't controlling him. He still has his own personality. He's the one actually in charge. The demon is just with him in there. Whereas the fiends, the demon is the thing that's driving the bus.
Yeah, basically.
It's not the original person at all.
It's just wearing a meat suit.
Yeah, so very supernatural on that one, right?
Right.
So yeah, most of the end of the episode anyway is about her just being crazy as hell, and like none of the demons ever want to deal with her because she's ridiculously powerful.
Yeah,
they know who she is.
They know she's around, so like they can never. He's trying to like fight demons, but they just leave because they're scared of her.
And the problem is, if you're not fighting demons, you're not making money, and then, the company will get rid of you. And if they get rid of him, they'll just kill him. So he needs to fight some demons. So that's basically how that goes. They show a little bit of her powers because she fights one demon right at the end.
They're saving it up too. Like
he doesn't use his powers at all.
He probably won't Chainsaw Man for like at least another episode, just because they got to like build it up. Because none of them have seen it yet, except what's her face that brought him in.
Yeah, it's very good. I like it. I can't envision it getting bad, but you never know.
I'm like all in on an updated Devilman. So.
It's updated Devilman. It's got a good sense of humor, and it's got a good, strange universe. Like everything is just weird. It's a little weird.
Denji's a real good character too. Like you can kind of identify with him a little bit.
I like how he's so happy, like just to have a hot bath and food. Like,
yeah, exactly.
He's not. He's the opposite of your typical entitled prick.
His only goal is to touch a boob one day.
Oh my god, so good, so good. But yeah, that's all the stuff we watched.
Yep. Pretty much.
That's pretty much it.
We'll probably catch up on some more stuff this week, but because there's still Galactic Heroes. Got to get to that second season of Dota.
Dota, it's tough. There is so much freaking stuff this season, which good problem to have.
I need more free time.
Good problem to have. Anyway,
moving on.
So we'll do this kind of briefly, because I don't want this episode to be 8 hours long. So Aaron Lopresti, so he was a comics artist, mainstream comics artist. He did mostly DC stuff. Just ridiculously talented from an art standpoint,
from
for
a straight
sure.
Drawing standpoint, damn.
I mean, my God, like watching him do the comic drawing competitions that he was doing last year. So Dan Fraga, who's also a comic guy, run competitions on his channel, and Lopresti damn near should have won. I don't think he actually won at the end, but I don't think that was just simping. But his art is it's phenomenal. All right, like the again, we've said it before. The amount of talent from artists that are in Comicsgate are it's insane. Like they're ridiculous, right? Way better than what's left in the mainstream, to tell you the truth. So,
it's not even a competition.
No, it's not. So, but they do lack in writing. Lopresti's writing is actually pretty damn good. I like it. It's very
solid.
It's solid,
writing.
Classic pulp. I like that.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And I have a super bitch about cringy dialogue.
Yes,
it drives me nuts. And his is like bunny.
Yeah, he does not have cringy dialogue.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, he really doesn't. He's actually really good at that.
It's really good. It's just it flows well. Nothing weird. It tells you exactly what you need to know. Not like overly fluffy.
Yeah, and it's not. Listen, it's not
fucking Warren Ellis.
It's
shit.
gonna be retread a little bit. It's gonna be tropey, but he executes it so well. It's like a good shonen anime, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It's just fun.
Same idea. So we both read Garbage Man. So we both read Wraith of God before. Wraith before. Wraith of God is great. It's set in the late 1800s. It's classic old. It's basically Old West: The Shadow, kind of.
Yeah, it's like
very
basically
similar.
Old Westy pulp. You know what I mean?
Very good. Very cool.
Fighting werewolves and shit.
Fighting werewolves. The next one he's going to be fighting vampires. Very classic, right? So this is set in modern day. This is Garbage Man. So Garbage Man is essentially, to me, it's the Toxic Avenger and Swamp Thing kind of put together.
Yeah.
But it's its own thing. It's not
it's
exactly
put together
that.
in a crafty way. It's not
very
sloppy.
crafty. Very good. So you got lawyer gets himself blown up.
He's investigating like a pharmaceutical company.
Yep. He gets Roger. I think it was. He gets himself injected with like experimental.
Yeah, they want to get rid
serums.
of him, and they need test subjects for.
They're testing like HGH.
They're trying to make super soldiers.
They're basically trying to make super soldiers, and it's turning people insane, turning them into monsters, whatever else. But they got to get rid of them. Lab he's in ends up blowing up. A little Dark Man going on there too, and apparently he's blown out into the swamp nearby. Swamp, riverbank, garbage heap, whatever.
Yeah.
And he basically absorbs all like the soil and the sticks and the metal
His
bits
body
and-
remakes itself with whatever the fuck is around, which is basically like
Pretty
dirt
much.
and sticks and garbage.
So he becomes basically invincible at that point. Like it takes 6 months to do, and he goes on a quest to figure out. It takes him a while to remember who he is and remember everything that's going on. But he goes on a quest to try to get his life back, and then just to kind of bring justice to the people that wronged him, right? And then a little bit to protect some of the new people he's met.
Yeah.
Like the homeless guy in the homeless community. So, it's a good hero's journey, a lot of suffering, a lot of heartache. He becomes monstrous. He becomes more monstrous on the outside and less monstrous on the inside. Not that he was a monster before. He was a lawyer, but he wasn't that heartless.
Yeah.
He actually was keeping his assistant, one of the junior lawyers, not an assistant, but like one of the junior lawyers out of the case, Samantha, he was friends with.
Yeah, 'cause she wanted to.
Samantha, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to keep her hands.
He wanted to keep her not
because he knew it was gonna get.
Because he knew it was going to get messy, and he didn't want her to get dirty. And then he had his relationship with his wife was kind of falling apart. So
Yeah.
There's a lot of good character drama in there. Like you said, good dialogue, good pulp stuff. I like the guy who's going crazy and just summoning like demons,
Oh yeah, no, it was like
brain monsters.
no, it wasn't even demons. It was just like he opened.
It was
up,
like extra dimensional.
Yeah, like dinosaurs,
Dinosaurs, but they were like
T-Rexes.
there was dinosaurs, but there was other shit too because it was like extra dimensional.
I just remember
monsters.
there's a lot of dinosaurs at the beginning.
There were definitely a lot of dinosaurs. There's other monsters. He meets that like Swamp Thing guy.
Yeah,
He's pretty cool.
They can't talk or anything.
The Moss
Like,
Man,
yeah.
but he's pretty cool. It's just classic superheroes. Well,
It's the
not
kind of
superhero,
shit I've read. Shit that's almost identical 1,000 times, and I still enjoy the crap.
but-
out
and
of
it's
it.
very good.
And I'd read more.
Drawing's great, writing's great,
Art's great. Like the dialogue flows well.
Yep.
You don't need a lot of dialogue because the art is so good. Exactly what you want out of a comic book.
Yeah,
man.
and it's Dark Horse published it. It's a collected volume you can get. I just get it directly from Aaron himself. Mine came signed. I don't know. I don't remember if I paid for that or not, but it came signed.
As
great.
far as I know, he bought back all the ones from Dark Horse, and a lot of them were probably already signed
To sell, yeah, maybe
just
I
to
don't know.
resell. Because people, I guess, asked about it when they were buying, like when they were backing Wraith of God. They asked about Garbage
and that's
Man
the thing
trade.
too. So he's got a campaign. I think it might have just closed, but you'd have to check that. For Wraith of God 2, and Wraith of God 2 also has Garbage Man story in it. And there's a tie with Wraith of God and some of the characters in Garbage Man, even though they're 100 plus years apart.
One of his other properties is
the nightclub.
The nightclub.
They're kind of cool. I like that. The statue woman.
Yeah, she turns to stone. The other guy turns
picturesque.
to metal, and then you got the
There's the metal guy, and then Dr. Midnight, or whatever his name is.
Professor Midnight,
Mr. Midnight, Professor Midnight.
Mr. Midnight.
He's cool. But yeah, he's basically your traditional. He's the Shadow, right? Like much like
Yeah,
Wraith of God,
more
he's the
or
Shadow.
less, yeah.
Which I love the Shadow, so more Shadow, please. Yeah, it's good stuff. So I mean, I would highly recommend you check out anything Aaron Lopresti's doing. But he's
not
hitting it hard with
expensive
these.
either. It's like $25 maybe for a trade.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a decent sized book.
Oh yeah, they're 60 to 80 pages. It's worth it. It's worth it, and they're well written. Art's great. Like it was interesting because getting the Garbage Man trade, which was a traditional published trade, how thin the pages and stuff are.
Yeah.
Like you definitely, because I got used to some of the indie comic stuff, and they definitely use much nicer
Oh
quality.
yeah, everything's very bespoke.
Binding and pages, and everything's much prettier. Even that other book I read, which I won't talk about really, but Ascension, if you want another, if you really, really like Ghost in the Shell and want it to be more boring, buy Ascension. Check it out. The art is phenomenal, and the writing is good. It's just
Not a lot going on.
it's a more boring version. To me, it's a more boring version of Ghost in the Shell. I mean, I get it. That's a cool story you can retread. I just, it's not doing it for me.
Fair enough.
Maybe it'll get somewhere.
They can't all be zingers.
But I won't crap on it. I think people should check it out if they're into that kind of thing. But yeah, Wraith of God, Aaron Lopresti stuff. Go check it out. Very good. All right.
It's happening.
We've come there. We've come to the end where we review the main flick, the main vein. Wait, no.
You're gonna flick your main vein.
You know what I mean. Vampire Hunter D.
Bloodlust.
Bloodlust.
I'd say it's the chilling conclusion, but it doesn't conclude shit.
No, so
it is like one in like 40 stories.
There are 40 books. This is book 3, basically.
Yeah, the first one we did last
1.
week is book 1. This one's book 3. This one cleans up a lot. The only bitches I had about the original one, really.
Yeah, this is this is longer. So this is a movie length. I think it's an hour and a half, around 40.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's a little bit longer than the first one. It's a more interesting story, I think.
Yeah, more characters.
More interesting characters. My God, is that animation pretty.
It's gorgeous.
It's some of the most detailed animation I've seen. And it's got a little bit of that...
it's very Amano.
Patrick Chung, with the Aeon Flux and Rain the Conqueror.
Yes, I think that was Chung.
Yeah. Peter Chung? Whatever. I can't remember.
It's Peter or Pat. Like, whatever.
Yeah, so regardless, it's got that, it's got a little bit of that weirdness, not a lot, just a little bit. Some of the characters are very gangly. Great soundtrack. It was originally done in English, and the English dub is great. Dee's voice in this one is great.
Yeah, it sounds like you should.
Yeah.
Very quiet.
It looks really good. So, what the hell is Vampire D Bloodlust about? So, we talked about Vampire Hunter D last week, but it's a series of books done by Hideyuki Kikuchi, and a lot of the illustrations are done by Yoshitaka Amano. I mean, if you don't know who Amano is, God, look him up. You'll realize who it is immediately.
The designs for this one were like almost like an Amano drawing.
They're much closer.
They didn't have the 80s, like...
Yeah, much
closer.
What I mean? No, yeah, much closer. The designs were much closer. So, it's about, basically, Alucard, the son of Dracula. He's not called Alucard, he's D. But the son of Dracula, who was a Dunpeel, whatever. He's a Dunpeel. He's a half-vampire. His mother was human. And he's been around for 10,000 years. And it's the year, like, 12,000, 13,000. Vampires ruled the world for like 10,000 years. They had crazy technology, all sorts of crazy shit going on.
And now they mostly fucked off to outer space.
And now the Earth is left with all the weird monsters and stuff that they created.
And there's still like a few vampires.
And there's still some around, right? And humans are back to like a kind of late medieval,
like kind
Western,
of feudal, like
through like the 1800s style.
Anywhere like from Victorian era to like Middle Ages, basically.
Yeah,
depending on where you are.
But with more technology, they have like robot horses or cyborg horses and laser guns and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's got that whole like post-apocalyptic. We have technology.
It's my favorite thing, man.
Yeah,
it's my favorite style.
Everybody's favorite style.
So in this one, you get. It's a fairly simple story. Like a man's daughter is kidnapped by a vampire. Come to find out, she went willingly, and she's in love with the vampire, legitimately in love with the vampire, which is an interesting twist. Meyer Link, and they hire hunters to go after him. Now it starts off, D is getting hired, but he tells them, "Hey, I already hired the Marcus brothers." So the Marcus brothers are quite the cast of characters. There's 4 brothers, and then
the sister
Layla, which I don't think she's a sister. I think she's just there. I don't think she's actually related.
No, yeah, it could be true
because there's some, unless they're really degenerate, they're making some passes. So you have Borgoff as the main guy. So he's got all the arrows. You get the guy who looks like Pope
with the big hammer,
with the giant hammer. He gets killed kind of quickly. You get the smaller guy with the blades. You have the other guy who you injected full of stuff, and he becomes a ridiculous floating ghost psyker monster.
Yes.
Murders everything, but he's about to die at any minute. And then Layla's the girl, right?
Yeah.
And Layla's the girl. She's just in ridiculous red leather bodysuit with a hand cannon, like a ridiculous like bolt pistol kind of
It's
gun.
an absurd. Yeah, it is very 40K gun. It's like so massive and like gold leaf.
It's crazy. So, and they have this ridiculous like It looks more like a train than a truck, but it's a truck tank thing
Yeah.
that they drive around in.
It's like an armored school bus.
And they're going after Meyer Link, who's escaping with the daughter, as well as D. So they're both on the same trail. So you have that whole two hunters going after the same thing at the same time. How's that going to work out? You got a lot of cool monsters. You get the Barbaroi, which have all sorts of weird freaks.
They're
all sorts of cool powers.
Weird mutants, yeah.
And then you get at the end, you get Carmilla, who's who's Elizabeth Bathory, but is a blood obsessed vampire, even more so than other vampires, bathing in blood. Again, very Elizabeth Bathory in her ridiculous many-towered castle. Anyway, I don't want to give away too much. That's the basic rundown. It's them trying to get back the daughter, both Dee and the Marcus brothers with Layla.
There's twists and turns.
How that happens. And then, dealing with Carmilla and then Meyer Link and all that good stuff. So what'd you like?
I like Dee's updated suit. I remember you bitching last
Way
week.
better.
Way better. Like, I love the design way more.
It doesn't look like spandex with knee pads anymore. It looks like a leather bodysuit.
Yeah, and they're just, I don't know.
And not like a fetish one.
His cape's filled out better. His hat's cooler. It's
and the colors are better.
Yeah, I mean, and it's newer. It's animated better. So that probably helps too. But it's so pretty.
D actually being more like he is in the books, where D himself is a lot more like the man with no name. He's quiet, but he does have sarcastic quips.
Oh yeah, like there's one-liners everywhere.
He's very good at that. In the first one, he didn't really do that, but in the book, he does it, and in this, he does it.
And the Carbuncle's more of a nanny, which that was always in the books too. He's always like, man, stop doing this shit. I'm sick of bringing you back to life.
Yeah, the Carbuncle is way more of a whiner and way less of a crazy maniac. Because D is just insane. He just doesn't care.
Like
he's been around for forever.
In the books, the Carbuncle doesn't want D to die because he's sick of he doesn't want to die, and he's sick of having to bring D back to life. So he's just always cautioning him about doing stuff. Instead of in the first movie where he's just like a wild animal.
Yeah, definitely different. Let's see what else. Characters are great.
I like the addition of more hunters. That was like a fun.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Talking about characters like the new hunters and the Barbaroi, especially the 3 Barbaroi they have to deal with. The Shadow guy, which that's just classic. That's Ninja Scroll. That's like a lot of stuff.
Definitely.
And then you had the Tree Woman.
Yep.
Who was a real pain in the ass. And then you had the weird wolf guy who just had a wolf in his stomach. That guy was the least interesting.
He was basically a werewolf, except he had a giant wolf mouth head that just came out of his stomach and ate stuff.
And he also had
weird.
X-ray vision for some reason. You better believe me, brother.
I was gonna say that, but I stopped myself. I had some self-restraint.
I have no restraint.
Anyway, fantastic movie. It's awesome because you could actually watch it in English because it was originally animated to be in English.
And the story is good. It's well paced.
It's got a little more meat than the first one.
Yeah, it's just classic pulp, and it's a classic Western, really. At its heart.
Yeah, it really is.
It's very classic Western, like the damsel in distress, but then there's the twist where is she really in distress? But then there's the other twist where she's definitely in distress.
Yeah.
The kind of switching of villains is great. Love that.
Yep.
The Marcus brothers are just great characters. You said it before, but God.
Yeah, I just love wacky characters.
Very distinct.
Very over the top. Yeah, they're not forgettable characters. You remember each one of them individually. They all had their cool quirks. And
even the giant hammer guy who gets killed relatively quickly. Spoiler, but relatively quickly. You remember him, so that's pretty cool. I love the setting. I said in the last one, but even this one more so. Mm-hmm. It's got that very future. It's more Western. It's weird because it is definitely a mix of, Romania, Hammer horror, Carpathia, medieval look.
But the actual stories have a very Western feel.
But it's a mix of that. Even the visuals, it's a mix of that with the Old West in the US.
Yeah, like Victorian.
You just jam the two together. Because when you look at some of the people, a lot of the outfits and stuff look very American West.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
but then the towns and stuff look very Carpathia.
Yeah, definitely. It's a cool mishmash.
It's just a cool mishmash.
It just fucking works.
It
Whatever
really
he did,
does.
It works.
And then the crazy technology, and man, it's just such a great setting.
And if you like it, they printed all the books in English, and you're gonna hunt them down.
The highway, the bit of highway that's left that looks kind of gothic, but then has like the standard green.
Oh yeah, it has like
signs.
the green American style,
or
actually,
even Japanese style, or any style.
I was just
right?
gonna say that's international, like the green highway signs.
The highway signs. It's just a cool little detail, and it's the details in this are fantastic. Now, my bitch from last time, and it wasn't as bad this time as it needs a proper transfer or restoration or something. It's just a little muddy.
It's new enough where they didn't bother remastering it when they released it in Blu-ray, but hopefully, I think the anniversary is coming up soon.
The problem is, it looks like you've watched it. It looks like you're watching it on an old CRT TV, but then you just blew it up onto a modern LCD TV, and it doesn't. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. You'll probably not even notice it.
It's just you get jealous when you see the original and how
so
fucking nice
clean.
they cleaned it up.
So
and I can
clean.
only imagine how good Bloodlust will look when they actually go through it.
It's just
I know
a little
they will
muddy.
Eventually,
It's a little unnecessarily muddy. But other than that, I mean, that's a minor bitch.
Other than that, man, like you're not going to get more bang for your buck. Super entertaining.
I mean, I want more.
And I mean, it's perfect for this time of year. It's got that super awesome gothy Halloween feel.
Oh yeah, I can't like this. We did Blood much earlier this year. We probably should have saved Blood, but
it has so much horror stuff.
But this, for really traditional classic horror stuff like this, the original Vampire Hunter D, Blood, like that's the kind of stuff for me. Like for the holiday season,
Damn right.
The Halloween holiday season. That's what I want to see. Like, listen, there's plenty of truly disturbing and crazy anime, but I got a soft spot in my heart for the stuff that's more Hammer horror than is,
I like the corny Halloween stuff.
than it is like Clive Barker or like David Cronenberg, right?
Right. Anyway, that's about it. I'll see if I can dig up something good for the Halloween episode.
Ooh, I think about that one.
And until then, have a fantastic week. We'll catch you next time.
Peace. Well, that's all for today, everyone. We'd like to thank all of you for tuning into another episode of the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour. Please remember to like and subscribe, and may your entertainment be always, well, entertaining.